Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email us. Team Mosso at the1916company.com. It is in the description below. Your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any of our watches. Email us for pricing. Team Mosso at the1916company.com. Back in 2016, Hermes launched this, the H08. And the H08, which is known to everyone else as the H08, is a watch of exceptional proportion, detail, and beauty. The timepiece here in titanium with DLC, measuring 39 millimeters in diameter, 10.8 millimeters thick, and from lug tip to lug tip, 46.5 millimeters with a broad 21 millimeter spacing between the lugs. Now, this watch was released in a couple of different materials and colors. This one right here is probably the sweet spot with a nice two-tone effect. And then you can see on the wrist, it's very slim, being only 10.8 millimeters thick with a slightly stepped case flank. It does fit underneath dress cuffs. My wrist is 16 centimeters in circumference, and the watch wears quite nicely. You can see from over the top, the lugs are quite far inboard of the edge of my wrist, and it's even more evident down the barrel, and that even though I'm pulling the strap fairly tight. I recommend it for a wrist as small as 14 centimeters circumference. This one's on a rugged, two-toned textile strap. You can see it's quite thick, it's meaty, destined to last long, and equipped with a buckle that mirrors the coloration and the steps of the case flank and the bezel. So that design parallelism on the buckle and then on the case flank, really quite attractive. Hermes is nothing if not a stickler for details. Now, popping this open right here, we'll just do that so you can get a better sense of the inside of the watch. You could appreciate all in titanium, twin trigger release, so you have to press the triggers for it to open. And then we have ceramic pin snaps so that the snappiness and the tight tolerances of the clasp will not diminish with time, since the titanium can't aggress against the ceramic. There's also a smart micro adjustment built in. Now, this can be used when the watch is actually on the wrist, but you can see how it allows several different incremental stops to be used, and you simply push the micro adjustment through to the stop that you want for precisely sizing the clasp. And that's ideal because some people will find themselves between perforations on the strap, so this allows you to fine-tune. The case is simple, and one might even say somewhat fluid, as we have this beautifully integrated profile of curved lugs and case band. You could see this is all of a brushed longitudinal satin finish, and it is diamond-like carbon on grade 5 titanium. So what do I mean by diamond-like carbon? Well, I mean that is the material. A lot of people think PVD is a material. PVD is a process, physical vapor deposition. The material deposited can range from extraordinarily durable and premium like DLC to merely black coatings that have no inherent strength. This is exceptionally resilient. We have a crown that is polished and features the Hermes H or H with a media blasted interior profile, so you can see polish and media blasted. This is a screw down crown, and the watch is water resistant down to 100 meters. Taking a quick look at the dial side once more, you can see that there is a bezel that stands proud of the case. It's polished in profile. You can see it even has a flowing undulation from up to down as we move from 12 o'clock to 6 o'clock and back. We also have the same kind of undulating flow upward and downward when you look at the watch from 9 o'clock to 3 o'clock. And then we have a somewhat boxed and cambered sapphire. You can see that the inner face of the bezel is actually dished and polished. So a vertical lip, then a radial lapping machine-like pattern, and then this sort of inwardly dished or concave black polished frame around the crystal. The dial is a combination of two different finishes. One is quite dramatically media blasted, the other is more of a conventional matte black, and that matte black being the hour track inboard. You can see we have all applique numerals, which here use a special typeface created explicitly for these watches, which is always nice. Everything bespoke is very much the Hermes brand. We have the same typeface and font used on the date disc, which I really like. You can see that 4 matches that 4, and that 1 matches that 1. Little baton-style hands with a bit of skeletonization on the minutes. We have a symmetrically counterweighted orange index running seconds hand. The watch does have both a quick set date and a hacking seconds function, so you can set it precisely. Flip it all over, and you can see what Hermes calls the H1837. So obviously relating to the foundation of the company, at least year-wise. This is actually a Vaucher movement. It's based on the seed VMF 3002, and Hermes is a stakeholder in Vaucher manufacture. So this is from a company that Hermes partially owns, Vaucher manufacture being the movement arm of Parmigiani Fleurier. You can see the Vaucher star on the base plate, as well as 3002 adjacent to the free-sprung balance. The balance is free-sprung for more precision of adjustment and durability against shock. So 5-position adjustment is the high horology and chronometer standard, and in fact 5-position adjustment is what you would get if this 3002 were submitted for chronometer certification, which Vaucher does offer on these. It beats away at 4 hertz, and again, variable inertia, as these little eccentric masses, I'll do my best to show you this, little eccentric masses on the balance wheel are actually turned to change the polar moment or turning force. That's how timing adjustments are made, since the index doesn't move. Here we have a 5-position adjustment, a 28 pivot joules. You can see the stop seconds function activated. Turn it all over. You can see there's a Hermes monogram all over the bridges and the rotor. We also have a dual barrel setup that gives the watch 50 hours of power reserve. It's dual barrels in series. And then we have snailing on the edge of the bridges, polishing on the screws, a sunburst over the ball bearing at center, and then engine turning on the base plate around the edges. So it's quite nicely done. Taking a quick look at the bevel, you can see that they are actually mirrored, and that the attention to beveling here is a little bit better even than I would have suspected. It's not a sharp machined edge as you would find on, say, an Oris or a Tudor or even an Omega. This is a cut above. A really nice looking watch with a movement to match. If you love this watch, reach out to Team Mosso at the 1916company.com for purchase and pricing details.